What is up, everybody? This is Recap Rewind. I'm J-Lag.
And I'm NB.
And this episode is recapping and reviewing Siesta Season 3, Episode 9. And it's called, Why Don't You Just Mind Your Own Damn Business? Okay.
And don't forget, guys, stick around for the ending because we are going to go through our recap roundups, our best moments, our best lines. And you know J-Lag's got his best moments ready to go. So be sure to stick around for that.
As always, to our continuing listeners and our brand new ones, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into the episode.
Let's get into the double episode. So, guys, don't forget, this week they dropped 2 episodes. So, after you check out this podcast, make sure you go back because we also have another one
because we be
after
dropping
this.
two, okay?
So, there's 2 episodes. What did you think? Did you like them?
Okay, so if we're talking about both episodes at the same time in this episode, just know that I feel like these are all just like dragged out storylines, out to the ends of the earth. I feel like Siesta's running a little bit out of material. It's the same repetitive shit over and over again. I'm kind of over it. I don't know. How do you feel?
100% agree with you. It really did feel like they were just sort of like circling back like 8 different times between these 2 episodes. Yeah. Having said that, we do get to see a couple of cool scenes. Like there was a bonfire at the end of the second one, but we won't talk about that right now. But there's a couple of cool moments that I guess we do get to see. But overall, nothing crazy really happens, right?
No major
at this point, like Juliet and Alex, they're the main drama of the show. Yeah. And I'm kind of ready for this show to like steer somewhere else and like go somewhere else. And I'm waiting for the ball to drop on the pregnancy thing, you know?
Same. But that's the thing. I'm wondering where else can they go with this show outside of just their drama? Because it is true. It's very central to them too as characters, as people. So I don't know. I don't know what else to expect from a show like this. But yeah, so we can get into it. Anyway, either way, we can get into it. Let's talk about the first episode, the one that we're in right now, episode 9. The main big thing that happens this episode is it's celebrating 4th of July. Happy Independence Day, America. So everybody is bored of Siesta. And so it mostly starts off with Alex saying to Alyssa, why don't we like get away? Alyssa's got a family home in Georgia, so they're going to the country for the 4th of July. But it's like a group of people. Obviously, Juliet's not a part of that group. There's a few other people that weren't really invited. It's just a smaller group. So it's like Chloe, Amanda, JJ, Jared, and then Alex. So it's
and this random girl. This random girl who was like in the pool.
Oh yes, what's her name? Maddie,
yeah,
Alyssa's friend. I think like she either stays at the house or I don't know what she does, but whatever. So everybody's going in there for the 4th, and then we see the first scene where actually shit happens is Ition Madison going out for dinner.
Cute.
And he buys her a necklace. Were you like, yes, get it, boy? Or were you
he's honestly like, he's really growing on me. And he really impressed me in this episode. I think they go through some really like tough shit. Yeah. And he seems like a really, really good support system. And like, he was like getting her through it as well. And this moment was so cute because she was like, was this a moment where she was like, seems familiar to you?
Yeah.
And then he was like, LOL. Like, like the first season we were filming in this restaurant. And he's like, now I'm sitting with you like at a table dating you.
Right.
I thought that was kind of cute.
The place that they like Siesta, they know. Like,
oh, for sure.
Like, they film right there in that corner. I feel like we've seen so many scenes there. That was cute. It is cute. I like them together. I think that they're really cute. I think that they're working things out. So in this episode, Paige is coming home. Shout out to Paige. Hey,
where
girl,
was she?
hey.
Did she say where she was?
No, but remember when we talked to Madison during our interview? If you guys haven't checked it out yet, check it out on our podcast. We interviewed Madison last year. And she says that Paige went to, like, she just left. She ended up like living in like Pennsylvania or something. Like she just like dipped from like the world of Siesta Key. Yeah. And I always forget that she's the older sister because they all look so like young.
Yeah, they do have like baby faces.
Baby faces, yeah. So I look at Paige and I'm like, you're the little one though, and she's not. But anyway,
and
so she's coming home, and they want to do dinner with the whole family. So like his dad, his mom, his sister, or her. Sorry, her.
I guess like in this moment, also like Ish is like, by the way, like you should move in with me.
Yes, he says.
Like he drops that bomb on her, and she's like, okay, like I'm down. She's like, yeah, I'm down. Like he didn't propose to her, but he's like, come and move with me, like move to LA with me.
Move to LA, yeah.
I assume that she was already living in LA because when we did interview her, she did say like, I'm out here, I'm living in LA now.
Right.
But I guess like at some point she did move back home for a little bit, or like she wasn't fully moved in LA, and so this time he's like, come, like for real, move your shit in, like live with me. And she was like, okay, like, let's go talk to my family to, like, ask them for their blessings so that I could leave Siesta and come to LA.
Right. Exactly. So he wants her to move in. She's like, yes, I'm so excited. She's kind of using this dinner as a means to get everybody together to talk about the big news. And it just...
This is the thing, though. Like, if your dad already had a problem with you dating this older man... What made you think that like he was gonna be like, yes, girl, go and move to LA with him, move your shit in?
She definitely is being very naive in this whole scenario about just how she's going about it. She's definitely not. I don't know. I guess it's just the hope and pray that your parents are gonna accept your relationship, and I appreciate that she keeps on trying because of the other opposite side of things. She can say, you don't fuck my family. I'm never going to talk to any of them again. Let's just like you and me against the world. And those relationships can get kind of weird too. So I do appreciate that she's looking for the support of her family. No, I mean, she shouldn't expect it, but I do like that she keeps trying. And I think eventually, hopefully it all kind of comes back around. But yeah, so she's trying to push this again. The move to LA is a huge situation, but we'll see how that all goes down later on when we talk about that. So the next two scenes, I'm cutting it into two because all the stuff that happens in Georgia is all the stuff that happens in Georgia, and then all the stuff that happens at Brandon's party is like all the shit that happens there. So let's talk about Georgia first.
Yeah.
Everyone shows up. Right off the top, Jared is like already making like eyes at Alyssa's friend Maddie, who's like been sitting in the pool for the last like 48 hours.
Yeah, she's been like waiting for it though. I'm like, what is she doing? Well, because Alyssa was like, this is my family's home, and I'm like, are you sure you didn't just Airbnb it from like this chick in the pool? Like, I feel like she's the owner.
She's not even a real friend. She's just like the owner of the house. That's great. No, because apparently this is the thing that like Alex does mention it a few times. He says like they used to go to the family home when they were kids. So
yeah, it does sound like Alyssa's family does have money too. So I'm sure this is like their second house or whatever, like their cottage or whatever.
Yeah. Which is kind of cool. Understanding that there is like a bit of history there with them kind of makes me appreciate them as a couple as well a little bit more. So anyway, cutting back to everybody getting their rooms. Chloe and Amanda end up rooming together because Amanda doesn't want to be in JJ's room just yet. Chloe's kind of been pushing her to be like, don't fuck him. He's like, don't like get into that situation. You know how shitty that situation was. So she's a little conflicted, but she like listens to Chloe in this moment. Then another moment that happens is Chloe and Alyssa are hanging out in the kitchen, and Chloe tells her again about the 6-hour conversation that happened. But even though Alyssa knows about it, Chloe does push it forward and say, you know, I don't think he would have told you if I didn't push him to tell you.
Yeah.
And that kind of sets Alyssa off. She's like, what the fuck? Like, yeah. So she gets pissed off about this. And Chloe's just like sitting there like sipping her tea, like she's just like waiting for it all to fucking hit the fucking fan.
Well, Alyssa's like sitting there acting like fucking she didn't know anything. She's like, well, like 6-hour conversation's like pretty long, like actually like what are you talking about? I'm like, you know this from 2 weeks ago. Why didn't you make a big deal out of it then? Like why now it's like hitting you like after like after a full like 4 days you're like,
I think it was more the fact that like she knew about it, but she was just frustrated with the fact that she found out that he was probably going to keep this out of the conversation
for sure. 100%.
If Chloe didn't like tell him like, you better done say something before I say something. So I think it was more that the fact that she like, you know, like he wasn't gonna do it himself, because then that's like secrets and lies, and like what would keep him from telling another lie just because he doesn't want to hurt her feelings, you know, like what's that whole situation about? So it cuts to Alyssa talking to Alex at the pool, and she says it right off the top, like, yo, listen, like, what's going on with this fucking 6-hour conversation? Chloe told me that you weren't even gonna say anything. And Alex does make a few good points. And this is the one thing that, like, I'll say that because it leads to that final scene with them at the dinner party or the dinner table. But, you know, Alex says, he's like, what does she want? Like a fucking medal? Like, why is she even in my business, like, saying this to you? How did you feel about that whole interaction, like, and his side of things versus her side of things?
I understand what you're saying. Like, I get that, like, he made valid points, but I also feel like in the grand scheme of things, he was being shady. So however he defends himself, however he tries to outsmart the girls and whatever he tries to do in this moment, like, at the core, I know he was trying to be shady and he is shady. And so whatever he says, I don't really buy it. And I don't really find it as an excuse.
Yeah, so, no, I agree.
You know, he just needs to cut the cord. Yes, I fucked up. I called Juliet. Done. Bye. Over the story. Like, you know, but instead he's like, but don't ask about, don't get involved. Just don't get mad at her. Just be like, it's done now. We're moving on. Goodbye.
And I think that's the big thing with where Alyssa comes from. She's like, why are you getting so upset about it if it's not that big of a deal? Like, you can just take it down a notch and be calm about it. When he freaks out, it obviously, like, seems sketchy. So he just needs to, like, chill the fuck out. So then it cuts to, like, nighttime. Amanda and JJ have a little moment at the barbecue and they're kind of flirting it up. JJ says, like, I'm trying to get you, but Amanda does admit that, you know, one of the reasons why they're not getting together is because Chloe is kind of blocking her. And JJ's like, well, don't listen to her, like, just do whatever you feel like doing. And Amanda's like, true. So then we cut to, like, the big dinner time scene, and this is when things, like, just get fucking wild, because when he talks to Alyssa earlier in the pool, he says, like, I need to talk to Chloe and make sure that she knows what's going on. So Alex, right off the top, while everybody's sitting there, like, I don't even think the food is fucking served yet, he's like, hey, Chloe, I have a question for you. He's like, are you team Juliet? I'm like, and everybody's just, like, so confused.
When he's asking this, he's, like, laughing too. I feel like the producers were like, yo, ask this question. And he doesn't even want to ask it. Like, he just wants to eat his fucking food. And he's like, fuck, like, I have to ask this dumbass question now just to, like, rile everyone up at dinner. But, I mean, he does ask it. And obviously, like, it pops off and everyone freaking freaks out.
Yeah, so he asked the question. Chloe's like, I don't know why you should be talking. She, like, backs it back up and she's like, I don't know why you're even bringing that shit up right now, because why are you still not official with Alyssa? And he's like, like, he kind of, like, stumbles on his words.
Okay, also, like, I was gagged at that too. I was like, wait, they're not official? Like, I thought they were.
Yeah, no, I guess not. And that's the thing. Like, Chloe's like, well, why aren't you doing anything about it if you're not, like, why are you being such a punk about it? And he doesn't have a moment to really, like, catch himself. Again, she calls up the 6-hour conversation and Alex is just, like, losing his mind. He's like, why do you keep getting in the middle of my fucking relationships? And then Amanda goes in and she's like, stop, Ron, stop.
Yeah, Amanda was so random.
Yeah, I mean, I do understand where Amanda is coming from too, because if you really do make the parallel,
but just don't.
Chloe's also in her shit as well.
Okay,
you know?
But having said that, Chloe's also, like, when you're the friend that has to pick up all the shit that your friend goes through.
It's true. I agree.
That opens 100%. The doors for Chloe to say whatever the F she wants, because now you're involving your friend to, like, help you through this like hurt, and now she can say whatever she wants. So for sure. And also, like, for Amanda to come at her in that moment, like, it was random, and, like, she didn't have to do it in that moment, because, like, you're just, like, targeting Chloe at that point.
No,
you know
it's true. I like don't add more fire to, like, the situation. Like, it's very it's already very complicated. I do agree. And so it does come to a point where you know, even Chloe rips into her and says, like, go fuck yourself. Like, you're the one that was crying for, like, days on end during your relationship. So, like, to your point, it does make sense that she's like, why would I want to sit through that shit again?
Like,
with your
you are always the first person. You're always the first person to forget your feelings of how that person made you feel. But your friends will call you out. Like, your real friends will call you out on that, and they'd be like, dude, you were this depressed. You were this sad at that point. Right. Like, don't go back to that, you know? Yeah.
So that happens. It comes to a point where, like, Chloe feels so attacked that she leaves, and she does not just leave, she literally dips.
Yeah, she's like, I'm literally going home.
Yeah, she's like, I am gone. I'm leaving on the next plane. So she dips, and then it's the next day, or no, the evening. So the dinner ends. The last scene that we see in this, like, scene, I guess, is Jared and Maddie by the pool. they like start this like sexy music. And of course we were waiting for this to happen. Jared and Maddie getting together or hooking up or whatever. They start making out. But then the weirdest thing.
This was so weird, guys.
So
because they've never done this. They've never done like a Mike was left on kind of scene. They've never had that.
Yeah. So all you see is like the sky, like it's like the shot is of the sky and the trees, and you can hear their voices and they're like kissing and giggling, and then suddenly he's like, okay. Like nothing, like,
he's
so
like, my bad. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah,
like, what are they doing?
Yeah, and she's like, is that my fault? Like, you can't understand what the fuck is going on the entire
He's
time.
like, no. He's like, just blame all the booze. I was like, oh my God. Like, we're actually in this moment.
The next morning, and he literally got like whiskey dick, apparently.
Yeah.
Like, I guess we're assuming that's what happened, but like he basically says that.
I just found it funny that the mic stayed on. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it was such a random thing to happen because they've never had that happen before.
It's just random that Jared even had a storyline this whole episode. They could have just left it very.
I think they're really trying to push his character. I think they're really trying to have him like do something.
I mean, I think they're trying to push something because we're almost done with the episode and it's like been 15 minutes. Like there's really nothing here, guys. Okay, so we're done with Georgia for a second. We'll go back to it at the end of the episode, but back to Brandon's party because they're having the other half of the cast are doing their thing at Brandon's party. So we're talking Garrett and Kelsey and like all the other people who
and already like I have to say like already it already felt different. Like that whole scene with like Brandon and like Kelsey and everyone, like it felt the energy was very normal and like I was watching a real group of friends like actually just having a good time.
For sure. And I think that's the thing. Like a lot of people were saying that like this is the separation is what's needed kind of, right? Like, but one of the big first things that happen is Madison and Ish show up. And Brandon right away surprised me, but he apologizes to Ish like right off the top. And he says, I'm so sorry about what happened last time I saw you. And Ish is like, yeah, all good, whatever. It's cool. So their shit is squashed. It really quickly in this moment cuts to Juliet in the store because Juliet decided to not go to Brandon's party because she thought that Alex and Alyssa were going to be there. She didn't want to be a part of that drama. But because she didn't show up, because they ended up going to Georgia, she doesn't show up and cuts to her at the store with like Kelly or whoever the fuck she's with. And they're like folding clothes. And she's like, damn it, I should have gone to this damn party. But otherwise you don't see her for like pretty much the entire episode. Yeah.
And like, that's what I mean. Like it just felt normal. Nothing toxic happened. Nothing crazy happened. They were just having a really good time on July 4th, you know?
For sure. Her like the section, I'm telling you guys, the notes in his section for his party are like 4 points. Because the last point is with Madison and him talking about Amanda and how he basically says like, oh, I like tried to get her and she just like didn't want what I was giving her. And I just thought it was really funny that the tables kind of turned on him in the sense that, you know, in that episode for his birthday when Madison was like, I'm just here to tell you how I feel. And I think that she has ulterior motives. And everybody was like, yeah, stay out of his business. It's not a part of you like you to talk about his shit. Like he's turning around being like, yeah, she didn't want me. I was like,
but having said that,
Madison was literally trying the entire time to just tell you that she did not want that, you know?
No, for sure. And I think like obviously I think she really was genuinely like looking out for his interests. Having said that, I do think that like he needed to see it for himself and he needed to like experience Amanda and like live his life and like
for sure
find out for himself. But it's for sure.
I just thought it was really funny that like after all that time, like the tables turned and I was like, Madison was right this whole time. So then it cuts to the next day. Another scene that we have is Madison and Ish going for lunch with Paige and the family.
So this is the big scene.
So Paige shows up first. So we see her first.
So can I just tell you my expectations quickly before we dissect this?
For sure.
So absolutely. My expectations just going into this right off the top, and I don't know Madison and Paige's relationship, but assuming that she's her sister and like they're pretty close in age and like, you know, it is her sister, I just assumed that she was already going to be on their side. Like Paige was already going to be on Ish and Madison's side.
Right.
That's how I was going into it. I was like, it's okay. No matter what, like the mom and dad say, like Paige will be like the cool sister. And like, she'll be like, I got you, sis. Don't worry.
Skirt. That was not how it went down.
Yeah, not at all.
Not at all. So yeah, right off the top, he does try to make it like very calm with her, and he's like, oh yeah, like, you know, of course you know me. And he's like, yeah, she even tries to say like, yeah, you already know my parents, so like it's not like you don't know them.
She made a comment though. She made a comment that sounded like she didn't know him that well yet.
Well, I don't think she knows him like 100 because she was only on for like 3 episodes, maybe, not even. Yeah. So she probably didn't have like exactly. She probably didn't have that relationship. Plus, like, he was a producer on the show. Like, there was no like, I don't know what the relationship was with the producers on the show, these kids, you know? So I don't know. Anyway, so then the parents show up. And this is when like shit kind of hits the fan. Everybody's like, get me a drink. Everybody's like, we need to talk. So
the mom's like, are you pregnant?
Yeah, because Madison says, she's like, I have some news to tell everybody. And Madison says, like, we're gonna move in together. I'm gonna go move to LA. And everybody right at the top is like, no, including Paige. So that was a big gag for you, right? Like, you were pretty shocked. I was like,
you know, and I love our girl Madison, and this is why I'm so torn with this scene, because I think as a whole, as a family like dynamic, you know, they don't know Ish, like they haven't sat with him and like spent time with him. So like, I 100% understand, like as a sibling, as a like a dad and a mom, like I understand why you're apprehensive about letting your daughter move across the country into this man's house, who already like you're skeptical because like he's older or whatever.
Right. Right.
So I get where they're coming from too, 100%.
Yeah.
I just was surprised that like she looked towards Paige and Paige was like, nah, like I don't agree with this either. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. It was, I mean,
what did you think?
I feel like we did talk about this offline, but I think one of the things is I do understand the family side of things. It is a very difficult thing to wrap their heads around. Like you were saying, with him being older, with him saying that it would be a good idea for her to be in LA. Like the dad makes a very good point right off the top. He's like, so you're telling me that my daughter is going to be there by herself in LA, just like living in your house, and you're just going to be like going off doing God knows what. And like, I think in that regard too, like the dad isn't really seeing Madison as a full grown adult. He's seeing her as like a young child. But like, that's not probably never going to change. Like, that's your dad. He's always going to see you as a little girl. Like, it's very hard for parents, I think, generally to see their kids grow up and like do their own independent shit. So of course he's imagining her like just sitting there by herself with no support system whatsoever. And like he's also kind of angling it, saying it that it's almost like Ish's advantage. It's not to anyone else's advantage except for Ish. And I think that is one of the things that, like, of course, red flags for parents who are like, this guy's taking advantage of you. Like, it's just like any relationship. Like, whenever they try to like kind of get a sense of who this person is in your child's life, you need to like either step forward and say this is not right, or you kind of let it be what it is. And they're not comfortable with it. And I think that's totally fair for them to cut out. Of course, you want Paige to be at least Paige to come around, and they do say it later on in the episode. Like, I was hoping at least Paige would come around and be on our side, but that wasn't the case. That's not how life works. And you know, your older sister's also trying to look out for you too, and she does make a good point, which is, it's really funny that she says this. She's like, it's such a cliche, like the producer, the older producer and the young actress, and she moves in. Like, she's like, it's such a cliche. Like, why would you even think that that's a good idea?
When she said that, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, and it kind of put me in perspective to the relationship as well. Like, obviously, we're seeing them as like two individuals just falling in love with each other. But then when you frame it in that sense, it does feel a little weird. You know what I mean? Like, there is a level of it that's like, I don't know. There's a little bit of doubt there. So I understand why the parents are probably freaking the fuck out. Like, it's their daughter.
And I know people always say age is nothing but a number, but sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. Especially like as her dad saying it, like he's like, you're going to be 30 and this guy's going to be like 50, like 60 maybe even. I don't know their age difference. So he's like, it's hard. Like, you're going to be raising kids and you're going to be in a different physical situation. He might be in a different physical situation. Like, you don't know. And it's such a far gap. And I get it as a parent why you would go and think about it in that context.
Right.
I mean, we know that they're still together now. So like, they've obviously like made it through some something, whether or not she's still talking to her family. Like, we don't know that, but
right.
They are still together and they live in LA. So like, I guess she did end up making the move. So
yeah, so that's the thing. It's funny because you're seeing all these Instagrams now. They're still together now. So like, obviously this all comes back to resolve itself, but we don't know how that kind of ends. I would be really sad if she ends up having to like ignore her family, because Madison doesn't seem like the type of person who would want that separation from her family. You know what I mean? So
I feel like they have a really, and look, I'm just judging because I'm like, I have a podcast and I'm just gonna judge. I feel like there's a really weird family dynamic that they have, the sisters and their parents.
Yeah,
and I think like since the parents got divorced, like there's a weird dynamic between them all. And I feel like they're a family that really had really, really high expectations for their daughters. And the daughters feel it too. And they're like, my life's not going the way my dad planned it out for me. And there's a lot of that tension that like you can see and feel when you watch their scenes. But I really just want her to be happy. And if her happiness is with Ish, it seems like he's a really good guy and he does take care of her. So like, at some point they're going to have to embrace that, you know, and they're going to have to be like, she's happy, like good for her. She made it out of Siesta Key, you know?
It's true. I think it's just like, at the same time, though, I also see Madison as a very young woman. And I think that she just, she does need a bit of time for maturity to show her parents that like, I can stand on my own 2 feet. Yeah, I don't like, you know what I mean? I think she keeps showing that she's just going to stamp her feet and like, I'm going to do whatever I want anyway. And that's not really the approach that you would take if you were actually much like, you know, trying to deal with this maturely, you know?
And her dad made a good point. He was like, you're coming here and you're looking for that stamp of approval. He's like, you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
He's like, you're not going to get it.
Stamp. Yeah.
You know, like, that was like hard to hear too, because he's like calling her out. Like, don't fucking come here. And you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say no, but you're still asking for my approval and I'm not going to give it. So,
in Madison and Ish's defense, though, I will say that they just don't give them a chance. Like, the family doesn't seem to be like, okay, well, let's go fishing, or like, you know what I mean, like to get to know him,
right? Like he needs to, and he made a huge effort coming down there, like for the weekend or whatever, and like spending time with her.
Yeah.
But the family needs to get to know you. That's just like a part of any normal relationship. Like no one's gonna just send their daughter like away out of the house to like a random stranger. Like for all they know, he's like a weirdo 45-year-old man producer.
Yeah,
you know. So like they need to get to know you and like trust you fully.
So yeah, I think it's just gonna take time, like that, and that's the thing, because of his schedule, because he can't really stick around in one place. It's just making things worse, right? Like they're not able to get to know him, so they're like, okay, he's a sketchy fucking producer who just like flies around and like won't take care of my daughter. So like, why would I trust him? You know what I mean? So it'll take time. Anyway, let's talk about Juliet and Chloe talking in Siesta. So now Chloe's back in Siesta and she's like, I came back early because I couldn't fucking deal with those people. She tells all the tea of like what happened, how everybody attacked her. And Juliet's just like, Alex is a loser. What else do you want me to say? I can't believe he was lying about this. It's just all the same reactions. And right at the very end, Chloe says she doesn't think that Alex is ready to be in a relationship, and it's probably never going to ever work out with Alyssa. The funny thing was, as she's talking about how it's never going to work out, it keeps cutting back and forth to Alyssa and Alex in Georgia, and he's like, I wanted you to be my girlfriend. Yeah. So obviously it is taking that next step. It is going to work itself out, kind of, I guess. They fucking get pregnant. So
and Chloe, like I was looking at their tweets last night, and Chloe's like, LOL, we all thought that this was never going to last. Like, she's like, we all thought that it was just a fling and she was going to be gone in a couple of more weeks. And she's like, we were all wrong, because like it ends up becoming like a baby mama situation. So
right.
Yeah.
I just thought it was just funny kind of seeing that back and forth. So cutting back to that like last scene with Alyssa and Alex, essentially he says,
it was
do
so
you want
awkward.
to be my girlfriend? And why did you think it was awkward?
I don't know. Like, he's so weird. Like, he's like, you wanna be my girl? Like, he didn't even know how to say the words, because it's like, I just feel like he was forcing himself into this. Like, I really feel like he didn't fully care to be in a relationship at that point. I do think he likes her. Like, I definitely do think he likes her, but I just felt like it just felt so forced. And maybe it's just the cameras like being on them, and like he just feels awkward like in that way. She was like, yeah, of course. Why not? I was like, ugh, that's just so boring.
I know, and that's the thing. I just feel like I'm like, okay, we already know it's gonna get to that step.
Yeah.
Like, let's just move on. I don't care anymore. I don't know. The show just started getting very boring. Final scene is Ition Madison sitting on the beach, hanging out, and he first starts off the conversation saying, I don't think it makes sense for us to be moving in. And this is when Madison starts to lose it. She's like, you told me that you wanted to move in. You're the one that asked me.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I just don't feel like after that conversation. He's just kind of gets upset about the fact that Madison or Madison's family, including Paige, just didn't support anything. And it kind of spirals to the point where Madison keeps pushing, and Ish basically says, like, I don't think we should be together right now.
Well, first he blames it on her, and I hate when guys do this. And this is when I lost a little respect for him. And I know he's coming from like like he's hurting too, and I get that, but like he's like, this isn't the right time for you. I need you to like go back and like think this through and like just take your time. No, she's like, no, I'm good. She's like, I will move in with you. He's like, okay, then I need time. He's like, I can't do this. I'm like,
right.
See, like, don't fucking put the thing on her. She knows whatever she's doing, and I get you want to protect her, but that's not your right to do that. She needs to make her own decision, and she did, and you were like claiming that as her decision almost in a way, right? Like,
right,
or her choice. But
yes,
and she flipped it on him, and she was like, no, she's like, okay, then it's your choice. And he's like, yeah, it's like, it's up to me. He's like, I want to break up.
He's like,
I don't
no.
want to be with you.
He's like, I don't want to be a part of this anymore.
Yeah.
So that's how the episode ends.
And like, honestly, like at the same time, I do respect him, because what he did say was totally
totally
proper.
Valid. Yeah,
totally valid. Like, he's like, you're gonna have resentment. He's like, you're gonna come all the way there, you're gonna live with me, and he's like, if they shun you or like they close you off, like, he's like, you're gonna start hating me for the fact that I took you away from your family.
100.
And he's like, I don't want that. And like, that's such an honest place to go to, and like have to admit that and be like, we need to reevaluate the situation and whatever, and resolve it. And I guess obviously they do, because they are together now. But it was still like, it's such a sad thing to see her go through.
100%. I of course, like you said, they work out eventually, but like, you just, in those moments, you just want them to like figure it out. But I think you're right, he's very mature in this situation where, you know, her head is quite up in the clouds, and I think he's kind of putting a lot of responsibility on himself to be that responsible person.
You know what really sucks in that moment for her, and like I felt it in my stomach.
What?
It's like, you're mad at your family already because like they now haven't accepted your move and your boyfriend, and now your boyfriend just dumped you. So now you feel like you have no one. And now it kind of makes more sense to what she says in episode 10 later on at the end, because like you do feel alone. It's like, fuck, like my family like didn't accept him. Now he's not accepting me. He's gone now. It's like, who do you have? She must have felt like shit in that moment. You know?
Yeah, for sure. And it sucks. And it was really cute. I was looking at her Instagram and she was rewatching the episode with Ish, and he's like in her story, and she's like basically like, he made me dinner to apologize about the fact that he broke up with me on national television. Like, just really cute seeing them kind of like poke fun about the fact that, like, you know, they've moved on and they're obviously still together, and you know, like they're working things out. So I'm happy to know that they're still kind of working things out, which is great. But that's the end of the episode. Let's get into our recap roundups.
Recap roundups.
Best moment. I think my best moment is just gonna be the fireworks sequence and all of them having like a really good time, and they were happy. Okay. You know, like they were lit.
Sure.
It was cute, and yeah.
My best moment is gonna go to Chloe calling out Alex, and just like going in on him in the public space, because it looked like even Amanda, at one point we forgot to talk about that, Amanda's face was like gagged. She was like, what's happening? So it seems that a lot of this was like under the bridge and like very quiet, but then like Chloe going in and being like, go fuck yourself, you're a mess, and then Amanda like, go fuck yourself, you're a mess. You know, I thought this was gonna be a moment where Chloe was gonna get a bit of karma back at her just because she's such a shit disturber, but I did like to see like Alex squirm a little bit, because I feel like he's just such a douche sometimes.
For sure. WTF moment.
What was your WTF moment?
WTF moment, I think we have the same too, and it's definitely going to be Ish breaking up with Madison. Not that I didn't see it coming. Like, as soon as he said like, you shouldn't move in, I'm like, he's gonna break up with her. Like, I felt it.
Really?
Yeah, I felt it, because I was like, he's so challenged with all of these emotions, and that the fact that the family is not accepting him. And I get it. Like, he's like, I get that he wants the acceptance before they move in together, you know, like he really wants that to be good and solid. And so I don't know, I just like saw it coming. And then obviously the second WTF moment is like Jared couldn't get hard.
Well, that was fucking jokes and so random. Like the most random thing that I've probably seen on this fucking show. Yeah, for sure.
It was just the way it all happened. It's just the way it happened. It was like they were like filming the moon, and then like it's like the audio.
I was like, what's happening? It was just so random.
MVP.
Who's your MVP?
MVP, I think, is gonna go to Ish. I think, you know, in a town where there's fucking sociopaths and narcissists, I think he is really a breath of fresh air. I think he's like, yes, he's on the very mature spectrum. He's like almost 50, but like he's just so mature. He really does care about her. He wants everything to be like proper and the right way. And I do appreciate that. And I'm really glad that they're together. Like, he seems like a really good guy for her. So
yeah, for sure. He's great. My MVP is going to go to our girl, Alyssa. For literally getting through to phase 2. She has like locked him down now. She's in girlfriend phase. So I'm like, get it? I'm very like...
Oh, she got it. I'm got it.
Like fucking clapping for this bitch. She is like fully pulling like a Meghan Markle.
She skipped fiance and went straight to baby mama.
Yeah, 100. So I was just like, get it, girl. Get it. LVP. Who's your LVP?
LVP, I'm going to say Amanda, because... I didn't appreciate how from the start she was like, no, me and Chloe are gonna room together. I don't want to stay with JJ just yet. And then in the end, she's like, yeah, Chloe, get the fuck out of here so I can sleep with JJ.
So I was like, JJ.
What the fuck? Like, you just said you didn't want to, and like take your time with it. Like, she wasn't stopping you from sleeping with him. You could have gone to his room and like fucked him. So like, she just flipped so quickly, and I was like, oh, you're such an annoying girl. Like, this is your friend trying to look out for you and like trying to warn you about this idiot who cheated on you probably like 100 times.
Right.
And you're flipping it on her. Yeah.
For sure. It was a little lame to see her kind of just be such a loser about everything. Yeah. But it is what it is. What you gonna do? My LVP is gonna go to Alex. I know that's a kind of an obvious one, but I just keep taking steps back and being like, why is everyone so gagged over this motherfucker? Like, everyone's ruining their lives because of this guy. Like, what is it about this guy that makes him that special? And watching him again, his laugh fucking annoys the shit out of me.
Oh my god, I hate his laugh.
He sounds like a psychotic baby. Like, that's literally exactly how he sounds. It's really creepy and weird, and kind of fake and lame. Like, I don't know, like, there's just nothing about him that like has the appeal that shows me why these girls have to gag over him so hard, except for his money. Like, he's got money.
But then like Alyssa has money, so it's like, what was she doing?
And that's what I mean. Like, she should, and she does sound like a strong, independent girl. So I'm just like, why do you even want to bother with this motherfucker outside of the fact that you guys have history? But I don't know, what it is, whatever.
The best line.
What was your best line?
Best line is gonna go to Ish probably at some point, because he did say some really like sweet things too before breaking like Madison's heart. And then also I guess you could say Alex for asking Alyssa to be his girlfriend.
Yeah, we'll give it to that.
He actually got the words out of his mouth.
Yeah, he actually did something. But also even saying where Paige was like, isn't it a bit of a cliche? I'll give her that one.
Yeah, that was a good line too. Yeah.
I was like, good.
I'm like, damn, you analyzed this, Paige. Like, you went in.
Dropped the mic. She's like, bye. I'm gonna go back to Pennsylvania now. That is the end of the episode, guys. I'd like to take this time to thank our patrons of the episode, our Rewinder Squad, White, Nicole, Faith, our Lit Rewinders, Tina Ann, Sarge, Serena, Soleil, Kate, and Jessica, and our Mommy Rewinders, Becca, Sarah, Tamala, and Grace.
Thanks, guys. And if you would like to join our Patreon family, check us out at patreon.com/recap_rewind. If you join, you get access to all things Recap Rewind, exclusive content, and updates.
And also make sure you guys are checking us out on all of our socials, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. You can also find us on Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iTunes. Like, subscribe, follow, review, and comment to stay engaged with us at Recap Rewind. Thanks for listening.
Bye.